I'm Renee.
Hi, I'm TJ. Welcome to River Green,
where the right address connects you everywhere.
Right, so today we'll be discussing more about the floor plan. Let's jump right into it, Renee.
Sure. Okay, let's start with the unit mix. There are 524 units in River Green, of which predominantly we have approximately 70% of 1 and 2 bedroom unit types. Okay, so you can see there. Now, we're going to jump straight into the site plan. However, the main focus would not be the site plan because we are focusing on floor plans.
Yeah. Right, so I think this is just to give you a quick illustration of where we are going to face or where the units are going to face itself. In terms of the orientation itself, our north side will be over here and then our south side will be located over here itself. So just a quick orientation for you to find out a bit more.
So if you were to look at the screen, you would be able to see our north view as well as the south view. North views, you will actually be able to see Orchard, all right? The south view, we would actually be able to see towards the Singapore River. On the west side, we will have Trillium, Cosmopolitan on the side, and on the east, we will have Fort Canning views as well.
Right, so Renee, I think it's good to say that regardless of where you view, the views in the area is quite spectacular, right?
Actually, I think one of the key things that the architects as well as the planners of River Green, right, they make sure that all the units will actually have very nice view corridors. So I think this is really something that is very attractive. When you look at, regardless of whichever unit you get, you will get some form of view.
Oh, that's so.
Yep,
Okay. Probably we'll just discuss it a bit more later on as well.
Okay, and guess what? For all of you who are fanatics over fireworks, this is going to be amazing because during New Year's Eve, you have the fireworks. So you actually have the view towards the Marina Bay area, and that's actually where you can go to the sky deck area, and that's where you have the wonderful views. Very exciting.
Well, I think it's something that I'll love. I think I'll bring my family there, during New Year's Eve as well.
Yes, and I would like to bring all my kids as well. 3, so they will be very excited.
Right, so diving straight into our floor plan itself, let us just first and foremost show you our one bedroom. So our one bedroom starts at 420 square feet. So in terms of what you see on the floor plan itself, we have identified a few key areas for you to find out a bit more. Right, so if you see over here, when we have circled out number 1, it will be our column-free interior, so it's flexible. Right, so Renee, what would you do with something like that?
So actually, right, when we have flexible layout, that's really very interesting because a lot of new developments may not give you the option for that. So River Green, it provides you for this. That's where you have the option to customize it to your lifestyle. It is just one floor plan, but multiple possibilities. So this is really exciting.
Correct. And then what I love about it as well is for number 2, it is an ensuite master bath that has a dual access. So let's say for example, because I like to have friends over often, right? So when I have friends over, I like my own privacy at times. I can just close off my door and then open the other side for my friends to just use it as well, right?
And not only that, it also has a nook kitchen layout. Why this is important is because generally when you have one bedroom units, typically you have a very open kind of layout. And when you have this nook kitchen, there is actually the possibility of enclosing it. And if you can enclose it, hey, that's your own personal space, especially if you're someone who enjoys cooking up a storm in the kitchen.
Correct. So I think exactly what Renee has put on point as well. Typically for our one-bedroom layouts, the moment you enter the door, you would see it by your aisle, right?
Yes, correct.
So I think having this nook kitchen is something that I personally prefer because I cook a lot.
Me too. I like this too.
Right. For our one-bedroom, in terms of the direction or in terms of the facing itself, it will be facing towards the northern side of Singapore, which would be towards your orchard view, right? So with that, we'll be facing towards River Shore.
The distance between our building towards River Shore is about 110 meters. That's actually a very, very good distance.
If let's say Usain Bolt were to run that, right, it will take him about 10 seconds to run across 110
yes,
meters,
I think so.
Yeah, so we do have a very good clearance from our building to the next building in play.
And not only that, if you just take a look at the views, right, you actually can see of course, in the background, you have Neon City, you have Ion. So I think that's really a very nice cityscape kind of view that you can get as well.
So moving on to the one-bedroom study, Renee, would you like to share a bit more about it?
Sure. Okay, so what is nice about this one-bedroom plus study unit, right, is that you actually have this additional study space. So this study space is actually very, very versatile. You would like it to really be a study? That's great. You want it to be actually a space for storage? Fantastic, you actually have that option. Or if you want to make it into your small little area, exercise area, you actually have the option of that. Or if you are actually an avid book fan, you want to have your little library of books, you actually can do it there as well. So that's what I like about it. That's the first point. Second point, if you're talking about column-free interior for flexible layout, so you actually are able to knock down the wall right at where the master bedroom is. So you actually have a wide space. So it feels very expansive. It feels very comfortable. You don't feel like you're cooped up in a small space.
When you talked about the extra study space that we have, right? Because we do have the master bath that is accessible via both ways, right?
Yep.
I think for me, what I would do is I would probably create a walk-in wardrobe space within the area as well. I think it makes perfect sense, right, for me to just come through across here as well.
I think it's also like you can actually store your bags, especially ladies, your bags, you know, your scarves and whatnot. You actually can actually do it up very nicely. And yes, like what TJ has shared, because there's dual access, right? You know, it's very, very convenient.
So lastly would be the same thing. We would have a nook kitchen as well, much like the one bedroom that we saw earlier. So I think in terms of the design itself, it is very thoughtful.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you look at our one bedroom and the 1+ study, right, both of them, they actually have a set aside space for the kitchen. You know, it's not an open concept. So this is something very different. It is out of the market norm. So this is something you would like to focus on.
Right. So now let's take a look at the views of the area itself. So for this stack itself, it faces towards the right-hand side or the eastern side. Right. So in terms of the eastern side, it will be more towards the Yong Ang Park area, the river view area. You do have pocket views of the river as well as Marina Bay Sands. So in terms of if let's say you're looking to clear a certain height to have an unblocked view of the area itself, we will definitely recommend you above level 15.
Yes, correct. So this is actually the view. So those of you who like this kind of view, this could be the stack that you could be focusing on. Now we're going to start on a two bedroom, 1 bath, 5 to 7 square feet unit. So very similarly, it also has no columns. So you actually have a very flexible layout. Similarly as well, the master bath actually has dual access. So what you can see is that in terms of floor plan, Wing Tai has made it very consistent. They made it very efficient. They make it very functional. So this is something that's unique as well.
Right, so I think this floor plan itself or this unit type itself is great for small families, couples, even let's say for example you have 2 kids, I think it works perfectly fine as well, right?
Correct. I would agree.
So moving on to the views of the area, it will be much similar to the one bed study that we saw earlier on in terms of the view, so we won't touch too much on it.
And now we jump into the 2+ study unit, 657 square feet. So the things that are similar, I'm not going to go into it again, but what I think it's really interesting now is if we focus on the point 1, okay, where we have this study space as well. So similarly, you can use it as a store, or if you can use it as a study, this is really good because it's actually tucked away at the corner from when you enter from the entrance.
I might even configure it to be a helper's room as well.
Yeah, there's actually the possibility of that because I think in terms of the size of that space, right, you actually can fit a single bed inside as well.
Yeah, so I think in terms of the layout, it's a dumbbell layout, very efficient. From the moment you get in, you do have your kitchen on your left-hand side as well as the 2 rooms on either end.
Once you get into the show flat itself, right, you see the 2 bed, 2 bath, this 2 bedroom plus study unit. I think you're going to fall in love with it.
So slightly more special, this unit itself faces towards the south side. So the southern side itself faces the Singapore River, right? So I think Singapore River, we've been there, we've seen it.
Yes,
it's beautiful, right? On a nice evening, if you take a stroll around the park, it is a very beautiful, it's a very calming and serene area to go to as well.
So I think at least if you are looking in terms of views, right, and you want something that's calming, so this is probably a stack that you like to focus on as well. Now we're going into the 3 bedroom unit, 872 square feet. All right, so what is really interesting is that the balcony, right, is actually not too big. All right, so you actually have some kind of outdoor space, but yet it doesn't eat into your own indoor space. So this is something that is different. And look, we actually have a bomb shelter in this layout. This is something that is very crucial, I think, for small families because you want a space to store all your additional barang-barang, you know, kind of thing. So, and even if you have a helper, this is also another alternative where you can actually house her as well. We actually have a large kitchen and there's actually also natural ventilation. So this is something that would be good. You need not worry in terms of, you know, will it be too dark, you know, will I not be able to see, you know, things like that. So this is something that I like. And also, all the bathrooms in the unit are actually naturally ventilated.
So I think on top of that, when we spoke about the flexibility of the space itself, right? So Renee and myself, we have come up with a few configurations that you can probably consider to maximize the space that you have.
So if you look at this, right, we have done a little bit of the changes to the floor plan. So what we have done is we've taken away the wall between the living and the common room. And guess what you can do? You can make it into a swivel TV, a 360 degree. So when you're in the living room, you have the TV facing that side, and the other, after the wall has been broken off, right, you actually can fit in a dining table. Actually, you can fit in an 8-seater.
Wow,
Isn't that cool?
that's huge.
Yeah, correct. So while you're eating, assuming that you are okay with watching TV while eating, you actually can swivel the TV to the other side and you can actually watch it while having a meal. Even at the other corner, we actually did up like pantry as well as storage area. So those are actually additional spaces that you can actually build additional carpentry for additional storage also.
Right, so I think in terms of the floor plan itself, there's a lot of flexibility you can do and customize whatever you want to do within the space.
I think for River Green, right, one thing that we need to focus on is not just functional, it's just not compact, it is really very customizable.
Yep.
You can fit it into whatever lifestyle that you have.
And then we do have another layout. This is, I would say, is a bit more extreme, and this is when we want to take off more of the rooms available, right? So if we were to remove the bedroom that's closest towards the living room, we do have a much bigger living room space that could accommodate your dining room as well. But not forgoing the earlier space that we talked about, having your storage spaces, your pantry area, right? It could now be converted to a study area. Yeah.
Yes.
So for anybody who enjoys having these quiet time, the space at home, this could be places that they could convert to as well.
And not only that, if you just look at the other room, okay, you can actually combine it so that you enlarge your entire master bedroom. You know, you now really have a full size walk-in wardrobe area. And not only that, right in the middle, you actually can have a little island, okay, where you can showcase your watches, you know, your belts and the lights. I think this is something that is very different, very special, which you can actually do in River Green.
Right.
So now, talking about all these configurations, I think one of the important thing is you need to imagine the possibilities. It's really a flexible canvas for your lifestyle. If you look at this photos, right, you know, you actually can customize your home in this way. This is really something that is really very, very rare. Isn't that right, TJ?
Correct, that's right. So I'm the kind who likes to fully customize my house. I think this is something that's perfect for me. I'm not just fixed on something that's very standard throughout.
And it's not just that, you know. For now, you may have it this way, but you know, in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you decide that, hey, actually this decor, it doesn't suit my family, it doesn't suit my lifestyle anymore. I want to switch it up. I want to make a change. You actually can just change it. Hey, you know, baby comes along.
Yep.
And then when the baby comes along, you need additional space for your baby, a nursery and things like that. You actually would be able to reconfigure the whole house to fit in the baby.
I think the most important thing is we don't compromise our lifestyle, right?
Correct.
Inside here, yeah.
Yes. So it's actually just a floor plan, but you design your life not defined by the floor plan, you know. The floor plan is actually defined by your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's really different.
So for the 3-bedroom itself, the facing or the direction that we're facing will be pretty much what we touched on earlier, which will be towards the Singapore River. So it's a beautiful view together with a beautiful home that you have.
Right. So the most exciting portion, which is the 4-bedroom, okay, 980 square feet, but yet the opportunities to make it into your own personal haven, it's countless.
Right.
All right. So important things to note, okay? Now, this is actually the traditional layout that we have, okay? But what happens is that you can actually knock down the different walls, all right, so that you actually can customize your space.
Yep.
I think one important thing that Wing Tai has shared with us is that I think the 2 bedrooms, they are not providing the wardrobe, right?
Yep.
So you actually, they are not providing the wardrobes. But should you want the wardrobes, they will actually allow you to, they offer you the opportunity to put it in, and they're going to do it for free.
Free?
Yes, correct. Free. Free is a very important word,
Yeah,
okay?
it's my favorite word.
Yes.
Anything
correct.
that's free is good.
Yes. So they actually have this option for you, whether you want to keep the wardrobes there, or if you don't want it, no, you can just leave it as it is. Right. So this is something that's different. So if you look at the floor plan, we did a slight modification.
Yep. So in terms of the floor plan itself, we decided to extend the master bedroom. So especially for people who enjoy the bigger space in the master bedroom itself, they enjoy the lifestyle, having the more comfort in the room itself, right? This could be something that they might want to consider having an much bigger master bedroom area itself.
So right. I think nowadays, right, a lot of people, our thinking has evolved as well. Our lifestyle, our habits has changed, and in doing this, you know, we have actually made our own personal space so much more comfortable, so much more enjoyable. That even though we are in such a good address, right, that it's so convenient, we may actually stay at home a lot
Correct.
more.
Yeah, I think what I would do in the room itself, right, I might even put a massage chair inside there with the amount of
There
space
is enough
yeah.
space, and not just a normal massage chair, even the, what's that, the Tian Wang or something,
no idea.
the Tian Wang Yi or something like that. Okay, there's really going to be a lot of space that you can play around, which is really a rarity in today's context.
Okay, so this is to show you another configuration. This is to show you the flexibility of the space that we have. This is if we were to make the living room space slightly bigger, much like the 3-bedroom layout that we saw earlier on, right? This allows us a bit more space within the living room to play around with.
So for those of you who actually like to host, right, you want to have a lot of people to come to your place, you want a bigger social area. So with this particular reconfiguration of the layout, you actually would be able to host quite comfortably as well.
Right, so the same thing, it faces the Singapore River, and if you have a nice living room space like this, imagine inviting your friends over for New Year's party, for Christmas parties, right? I think it will be spectacular in the area itself.
So now after we've talked about the 1-bedroom, the 1+ study, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, everything is done and dusted. Well, let us focus on the summary on the USP of all these layouts. Okay, number 1, it is non-PPVC.
What's so good about being non-PPVC?
There is greater flexibility in reconfiguring the walls, the rooms, and the spaces.
Okay.
Second thing is that it's customizable interiors.
So we can have bigger living rooms, we can have bigger bedrooms.
Basically, the layout, right, is tailored to suit your personal preferences or your future needs. All right, third thing, efficient and compact design. All right, so we have very smart floor plans, minimal wasted space. Every square feet is maximized for usability and comfort.
You don't find a lot of long aisles along the houses as well,
you
right?
see, everything is just so functional, so compact, so efficient. I really, really like it. I don't know if you can tell, but I really like it. All right. Fourth thing is that it's functional room proportions, very practical size bedrooms, living and kitchen areas. They cater to real daily living, not just your showroom aesthetics.
Right. So you really don't compromise on your lifestyle over here.
Yes, correct. And last one, future-proof layout. Very suitable for buyers who want to adapt or renovate their unit down the line. One very important thing, more flexibility, it means better long-term value. So now we are done with the summary of the floor plans for River Green. What is important for you to do is to connect with your trusted ERA advisor because you want to view the show flat at River Green.
Right.
All right? So what you need to do now is you need to
center your life in District 9.
See it, share it, attain it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.